So here, this is the one which we have discussed, right? Okay, so as I already mentioned in the SAML request, okay, as I already mentioned, what will be there in the SAML request? The SP entity ID, ACS URL will be there actually. Similarly, in SAML response, what other things will be available? Okay, so here, I mean, similarly, in SAML response, everything will be available. Okay, for that request, response is created, right? All the things are available. SP entity ID will be there. IDP entity ID will be there. ACS or URL also will be there. Certificate of the IDP will be there actually. Okay, and then there is a concept called SAML subject actually. Okay, so this has been introduced like, I mean, maybe like 10 years or something. Okay, I mean, SAML has been introduced long back, 1998 itself actually. Okay, so SAML subject is kind of a new kind of a mechanism they have introduced on, I think, 2005 or something like that. Okay, so what happens, right? SAML subject. Okay, so previously they have given only one verification actually. So that is the certificate. Okay, so the SP will verify the response by using one kind of a IDP certificate. Okay, so here there is one more verification has been enabled to make the SAML more secure also. Okay, so that is known as a SAML subject. Okay, now tell me guys, what is the unique ID actually for our users? Okay, so what will be the unique ID for our users actually? I think in the LDAP we created some users, right? Okay, now tell me what will be the unique ID of each users? I mean, now we have created our own users also, right, guys? So what will be the unique ID there? Any idea? No one? No one knows actually. We discussed the LDAP, right?
Dollar username.
No. That's you can ignore. What will be the left? I mean, what is the unique ID? Okay, which does not duplicate. Your first name will. I mean, it is not unique actually. Okay, your first name or last name means there may be a lot of people as the name as Karthik itself or Vinay itself actually. So my name is common actually. Okay, so a lot of people will be in the same name, right? Okay, so we cannot expect the first name and last name to be unique. What are the other details will be unique actually? Apart from user password, you can ignore it actually. So we never share the user password in the SAML. Okay, you can ignore that. What are the other attributes in for the particular user profile will be unique? Your full name, that is also not the unique actually. So what is the most important unique in the user attribute? You already used it.
UID.
UID, one more thing. One more. There is one more value is there.
ID.
Sorry?
Email ID.
Yeah, exactly. Email address. So every organization, if you go means, okay, your mail address and then your UID. Okay, UID means it's anything, your employee number or a unique ID or anything. So each organization will have their own specification actually. Okay, one organization, my organization is following the employee number actually. Okay, 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 like that actually. Okay, some organization will follow like one alphabetical 6 numerical digits will be there. That is their convenient actually, that UID. So, but UID plus email address is the unique attribute for each and every user. So the SAML subject, right? Okay, we will be passing. Okay, because each user we need to identify, right? Okay, so we need to identify who is the user authenticated actually. Okay, we need to tell the application, that is, we need to tell the SP. Okay, so this is the user who is authenticated for this application, right? Okay, so, I mean, we discussed everything, SAML request, response, user authenticated, and everything is fine. But we need to tell tell the service provider, okay, so hey, service provider, this is the user authenticated. Okay, so this is the user ID of the user has been authenticated successfully, or this is the mail address of the user has been authenticated successfully. So any one of them we can send either the UID or mail address. We won't send in the SAML subject. Okay, we won't send any other attribute. Only which is unique, right? For a user, we will be sending it. Okay, either UID or mail. Okay, but we won't be deciding this one actually. We will be giving an option to the application. Okay, so during the first call itself, right? Okay, when you are one application is asking, okay, hey, ping federate team, we need to enable the single sign-on using the SAML or OAuth actually. Okay, so they are asking, okay, hey, we can use the SAML for our application. Okay, so then you will be asking this information from the SP. Okay, you will be giving this information to the ST actually. Okay, so ST will give those information to us actually. Okay, similarly, you need to ask, okay, hey, application team, which is the SAML subject you require, UID or mail actually. Only two options you need to give it, not more than that. Okay, so they can share. Okay, either any one of them is fine. Okay, some application will ask, okay, hey, please send the mail address. Some application will ask, okay, hey, please send the UID like that actually. So whatever they want, the application team wants, we can send it. Okay, some application will ask for UID, some application will ask for mail, some application they don't care actually. Okay, send any one of them actually. We doesn't care like that. They will say actually. Okay, but only these two we need to send. Don't send any other thing because that is not a unique actually. Okay, okay, understood guys. The SAML subject one. So the SAML subject, now you can ask me one question, how we can able to get the SAML subject, that is a UID and mail address of a user. The similar way, how we are authenticating, you are connecting to the LDAP, right? The same way we can able to connect to the LDAP and get the UID or mail address of a user and pass it in the SAML subject in the response actually. Okay, understood? And then again, the new additions actually. Okay, nowadays the okay, so if you take a PUBG Mobile or any other game, Clash of Clans or game, right? So have you noticed every month they will give some kind of update actually? Am I right, guys? So every 4 months once update or every 2 months once update they will give, right? Anyone? I mean, anyone notice that behavior, guys? PUBG Mobile or any gaming applications actually.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So why they are giving an update actually? Any idea? I mean, that update is not like, I mean, they are adding some features in that particular game, right? That is the update they are giving it. The same case with the SAML also. Okay, so I think 1998, the SAML has been introduced. 2005, that is a major change in the SAML, okay, SAML subject. And then there is one more update they have given actually. Okay, so what is that update means? We can also send some optional attribute in the response. Optional attribute. Okay, so that is not mandatory. Okay, we can either send it or we can also ignore it actually. Okay, optional attributes like your first name, okay, last name, mobile number, okay, and then like, I mean, your city, country. Okay, so these are the details. Okay, we can able to send in optional. Okay, so whatever the attributes available in the LDAP, right, we can send everything also. I mean, everything it's not possible because, I mean, it's more than 1,000 attributes in the LDAP, but we can send whatever in the LDAP is available, right? Okay, we can able to send it, but application won't ask these details actually. Okay, it's an optional. Okay, some application will ask, okay, hey, pingfederate team, okay, just send me the mail address in the SAML subject, and please send me first name and last name as an optional attribute also. Okay, so they are not going to use that information. Okay, so they just simply want that information actually. Okay, so maybe they may have create the profile in the application backend actually. For example, let's say like when you are putting your first when you are logging into the Gmail, right? Okay, or when you're logging into your okay, let's say Zoom meeting. Okay, I will show you why that I'll show you why that optional attributes also plays some major role in the SAML and as well as the OAuth also actually. Okay. So here I'm logging to my account actually, guys. Okay. So here I'm using my Google authentication only. So here after login, here you could see, right, it is showing my mail address and then first name and last name actually. So here you could see it is showing my first name and last name also actually. Okay, how it is showing actually? This is because, okay, the backend application or the backend Google, right, it is passing the response as a, I mean, mail address as a subject value, and then they also passing the first name and as well as the last name of a user in the response actually. Okay, so the applications may use that. Okay, some application will use that, some application don't use that actually. Okay, so that is why we are calling this as a optional. Okay, so some application will use it and show it to the user actually. Okay, welcome Vinay or welcome Karthik. Certain applications you might have seen, right? Okay, after login, welcome Naveen or something like that, it will show, right? Okay. So for that purpose, certain applications will use those kind of optional information in the response. Okay, that is not mandatory. Okay, only SAML subject is mandatory, certificate is mandatory. Other than that, like these optional attributes are all optional only. Okay, we will also see when we do the practical. Okay, yeah. So guys, understood? Any doubts on this one, guys? The SAML subject, the optional attributes, and then the informations and all. Any doubts, guys? Everything is clear? All good? Okay. So there
So
are
I have
three.
a question. I
Yeah,
have
go
a
ahead.
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Uh, can we use Ping identity for the Google for the Google accounts or no?
No, 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 no. That is not. I mean, Google is a separate, right? They are using their own single sign-on tool, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Because I mean, if you enable the thing for Google, right, then Google, how? I mean, Google is a top organization around the world, right? So they are using their own single sign-on tool. They develop. I mean, they are having their own developers, right? So they develop their own single sign-on tool, and they connected with Zoom or other Microsoft Teams. Those kind of applications they connected with actually. So if they consume third-party organization single sign-on tool means that is not a case actually. That will create a unnecessary problem in the market actually.
we cannot even use it for the Microsoft
No,
account, right? Because they have their own.
no, Microsoft account they have their own actually, but we can able to consume the services of the Microsoft actually. So Microsoft don't think about the Microsoft accounts actually. Just think about the services of Microsoft. Like what are the services they are providing it actually. Forget about the Microsoft accounts actually. Just think about what are the services they are providing it. Microsoft Excel, Microsoft like Teams, and then Microsoft Outlook, like SharePoint, Microsoft OneDrive, Microsoft Word document, Microsoft PowerPoint. So everything, these are all services of the Microsoft actually. So we can able to consume it. Okay, that's a real time. We are all using it actually. Okay, for example, even my organization using the PingFederate for the Microsoft authentication only actually for the Microsoft applications. Microsoft will be acting as a service provider. My organization is using the PingFederate acting as a identity provider actually. Okay, so when you are going with the PingFederate as a any organization, if you are going for a PingFederate developer, right, then that organization will use the PingFederate as an identity provider to access the Microsoft services actually. It's everywhere is the same thing actually. Okay, not only for a PingFederate as a single sign-on tool, Microsoft is also having their own single sign-on tool called Azure AD SSO, and then like other Okta SSO is there actually. Okay, some organization is also following the Okta SSO to enable the services for the Microsoft actually. So it's like they are, if you take it as an organization, right? Okay, we need to consider Microsoft as a service, not as an account actually. Okay, understood?
Okay, sir, got it.
Yeah. Okay, because Google does not include that kind of a procedure actually. Okay, so they enabled Yahoo. We can able to use your Yahoo mail address in the Gmail, but they didn't yet included other authentication services inside the Google actually. Okay, yeah. So that's a problem with the Google because obviously that is why the Google is a number one organization around the world, right? For our what are the services they are providing it because they are having their own database, own LDAP actually. Okay, yeah. Understood, guys? Okay. So here there are three versions are there in the SAML actually. Okay, three versions. Two version is already. They stopped it. Still it's there, but the applications are not using it actually. So we can consider that is decommissioned. Okay, SAML 1.0, that is the first version has been released 1998. SAML 1.1, it's a updated version little bit. SAML 2.0 is a updated version actually. That is a current version. It was released in 2005 actually, but after that there is no update they have given because already all the SAML has been is already secured with the SAML 2.0. Actually, they have given some updates, but they have given as a hotfix to the SAML 2.0 itself actually. So they provided inside the 2.0 itself. Okay, so similarly, OAuth is also having certain protocols. Okay, OAuth 1.0. OAuth 1.0 is officially decommissioned, guys. It is not in working state actually. OAuth 2.0 is the the current protocol which you're all using it in future, okay, in 2024 or 2023 December or something, OAuth 2.1 is going to already beta version is already released in OAuth. That is 2.1 beta version is released, but in pingfederate or any official single sign-on tools, right? Okay, the 2.1 is not yet officially released actually. Okay, maybe it's not. There are like lot of changeover is going to happen in OAuth from OAuth 2.0 to 2.1, because if 2.1 is released, right? So a lot of organizations are all going to affect actually. Okay, I will tell you why. Okay, what is the reason actually? Why there is a delay? Because it's supposed to release on 2021 itself actually, but it's already 2023, not yet released because of all the organizations, right? So they requested. This SAML and OAuth, both of them has been introduced by the Oasis organization actually. Okay, so Oasis is a third party like a freeware organization actually. So they provided the SAML and OAuth as free for all the organizations actually. Even you can also develop your own single sign-on tool by using the SAML and OAuth actually. It's a free source. Okay. So Oasis is the one they are going to introduce OAuth 2.1 protocol. Okay. I'll tell you what is the difference and why there is a new version is going to release actually. Okay. When we do the OAuth. Okay. In SAML, as we already discussed the diagrammatic representation, and we also discussed the sorry guys, as we also discussed the information and as well as the information about SP and IDP, and then SAML subject, optional attribute, certificate, everything is being discussed, right? Okay. Other than that, we will also have one more thing that is called workflows actually. Okay. We also discussed one workflow that is a common workflow. Okay. So there are two providers are there, right, guys? Two parties. One is IDP, one is SP, right? So based on the two parties, there are two workflows are there actually. Okay, IDP initiator, SSO, SP initiator, SSO. Okay. So IDP initiator SSO is one of the way, but this is only for testing purpose, guys. Okay, not for official use. Okay, if some application team is asking for, okay, hey, pingfederate team, can you provide the IDP initiator SSO, means mention that this is only for testing purposes, not for the application usage. If still the application team is asking, means you can get the approval from the product owner and then you can share it. That is an exception approval, guys, not for all the applications. Only SP initiator SSO for the users. Okay. Discussing about the IDP initiator and SP initiator, right? Okay, so here IDP initiator SSO only for testing purposes. Okay, that is for the pingfederate developers like that. Okay, SP initiator SSO for the normal users actually. So how the users are trying to access the application, the request comes from the SP to IDP, right? That's the same process. Okay, so here if this SAML subject is not there in the response, means the application will reject the response actually, guys. Okay, so certificate also should be there and SAML subject also should be there. If both of them should be there, means then the application will accept it that is a service provider. If any one of them is missing, means the SP will reject it actually. Okay, yeah. So here, okay, this is a response actually. So let's discuss about the request. As I already mentioned, this is a XML format. So that is why it is showing it in a XML format. So this is the request, guys, actually. Everyone can able to see my screen, guys, right? So here, this is the XML format SAML request, guys, actually. As I already mentioned, okay, the entity ID of the SP should be there. Okay, so entity ID, it's a unique ID. Some kind of a string will be there, string, or it might be like a one word, or maybe like a string, or maybe like a URL actually. Okay, so that is the every person's convenience actually. Okay, so that is the application team convenience. Okay, so this is the SP entity ID which has been there in the SAML request actually. Similarly, here one more thing, what is another thing I have mentioned to should be there in the request actually? Anyone, guys? What is the next value should be there in the request, SAML request? One is entity ID, the second one is, oh, forgot, huh? That is the ACS URL actually. Okay, so that is the ACS URL, Association Consumer Service URL. So if both of them is there, means then the pingfederate or any identity provider will accept it. If any one of them is not there, the pingfederate will reject it actually. Okay, so this is the official request actually. Then what will be the response for this one? Okay, let's click on the response here. So here you could see this is a SAML response actually, guys. This is the SAML response. Okay, so this is a response without the certificate, I think so. Okay, let me show you with the certificate. Okay, so here you could see that is a dummy response actually. Okay, so this is the response with the certificate. Okay, so as I already mentioned, response will have all the information, right? IDP entity ID will be there, SP entity ID will be there. So here you could see this is the IDP entity ID. Okay, and then you could see, right guys, the certificate information. Okay, so I mean every time the certificate information is in a encrypted format, you could see it is starting from the MII, right? So that means the certificate is in encrypted format. So this is the certificate actually of the signing, that is a SAML certificate. Okay, signing certificate. Okay, and this is the entity ID of the SP. Okay, and this is the ACS URL, that is the recipient is the ACS URL in the response actually. And what one more thing, most important one, that is the SAML subject actually. Okay, so where is the SAML subject? Yeah, you could see. So this is the SAML subject starting actually. What is the value? So some kind of a unique value it was there actually here in this SAML subject. I think this is a entry UUID, I think so. Some kind of a unique ID which is there in for the particular user actually. Okay, so this is the most important one, that is the SAML subject unique ID. Okay, apart from that, so these are all mandatory details available in the response, and apart from that there are like optional or will be there in the bottom. You could see, like I think it's a some kind of okay, the user role. Okay, so let's say if you are a manager means you will be getting a manager, if you are a team leader means you will be getting a team leader. Okay, and then what is this one actually? Okay, so this is the mail address and this is the UID. You could see UID, mail address, and then there is some kind of a like age of a person, affiliation, some kind of a dummy attribute is there actually. Okay, so this is how we can able to see the response even when we do the SAML configuration, right? The response will looks like. Okay, we will also send the first name, last name, and then UID and email address also in the response. Even in the optional attributes also we will send it and we will test it actually. Okay, okay, yeah. So now here we will see the two different workflows actually. Okay, it's the same. Okay, no differences will be there, guys. I mean there are two workflows are there in SAML, but it will be the same how we did for the SAML workflow, right? Okay, so let's discuss about the SP initiated SSO. So SP initiated SSO is same with the SAML workflow actually. What is a SAML workflow? Normal workflow. The request will be created in the SP side. The response will be created by the IDP side actually. Okay. So here you could see generate and sign assertion is there, right? Okay. Generate and sign assertion means assertion is nothing but it's a response. In other words, we can call the response as a assertion. Okay. So here generate and sign assertion means we are generating the SAML response and then sign the SAML response by using one kind of a certificate. In short form, it has been mentioned like this actually: generate, sign, assertion. Okay, so here validate assertions and then the user identity. User identity means that is the SAML subject plus the certificate actually. Okay, so here it's the same how the SAML normal workflow follows, right? The same workflow has been followed by the SP initiated SSO also. So whenever the user is trying to access the application without the session, okay, so there is no session is there actually. So what it will do, it will redirect the user to the SP. So that means one notification will be sent to the service provider actually. Okay, so that is redirect the user to the SP. So in SP already IDP information has been configured. So what SP will do, it will send the SAML, it will create a request and then it will send the SAML request to the IDP, redirect the to the IDP. Then what IDP will do, SP information is already configured. So in request we now only we saw SAML subject and as well as the ACS URL is there. So if both of them is matched with the configuration means then it will throw the login page to the user. Okay, that means the user will type the credentials. So there is one more step will be there here. The IDP will go to the LDAP and then it will verify. Once it is verified the credentials, it will generate the SAML response and attach the SAML subject, attach the optional attributes, and then it will attach the certificate. That is signing the response by using a certificate actually. Okay, so that is known as the certificate signing. Certificate signing is nothing but Okay, we are attaching the certificate. That means we are attaching one certificate in the response. So that means we are telling the service provider, okay, hey, service provider, this response is created by the trustable identity provider only. So I have authenticated the user successfully. So you can trust this particular SAML response that I have completed the user authentication successfully actually. Okay, because SP needs to trust the IDP, right? Okay, because I mean, like IDP is creating a response, simply the SP cannot trust it, right? So they need to trust it by using one kind of a certificate actually. Okay, so that certificate is also known as certificate signing or signing certificate actually. Okay, and then send the SAML response back to the SP. Then the SP will validate the certificate and everything with response by using the certificate. Then it will allow the user to the application actually. Okay, so this is the SP initiated SSO. Now tell me, who is creating the SAML request, guys? Hello.
Service provider.
Exactly. Who is creating a SAML response?
Identity provider.
Okay, so in SAML response, what are the informations will be there? Like, I mean, what is a signing certificate then? You can tell me what is a signing certificate? So we are sending the response, but then they are asking, okay, how I can able to trust your response actually? Okay, how it is not, I mean, SP is kind of a saying, okay, so how it is not faked, how this response is not like hacked by the hackers actually. So that is why we are passing the certificate actually. Okay, so we are just signing the response. So you are having a digital certificate, right? So that is your certificate. You are having a degree certificate by physically and as well as the virtually you are having it actually. Okay, so that certificate will have a digital signature. If you see your certificate, there is one kind of a signature will be there inside the certificate, right? Have you ever seen that one? One person
Yes.
signature will be there. Okay, so if there is no signature is not there in the certificate, then you are your certificate is like a fake actually. So no one, I mean, no one cannot be able to verify that this certificate is a original one actually. Okay, so it's a fake actually. Okay, so similarly, we are sending the response by using one kind of a signing. So we are signing the response by using a certificate. If that signing is not there in the response, so then SP will consider this response as a fake response actually. Okay, the same concept. Okay, we are how we are making other people trust you actually. Okay, because of the, okay, let's say like you have experience of 3 years in one organization actually, so you are going to join another organization. Okay, so they are asking okay, so just okay, I want to, I mean, they are asking, okay, how I can able to trust you that you have worked in this particular other organization in 3 years actually. So how you make them trust you actually? This one. So you already worked for 3 years in one organization number A actually. Now you jumped to another organization B. So organization B is asking, they want to trust you actually, but how you make them trust you actually? Okay, that you have completed 3 years in this particular organization A. Any idea? Anyone? No? They will be giving, okay, so the organization A you completed, right? So they will be giving a certificate actually. Okay, experience certificate. Okay, so you need to give that experience certificate. It's not a physical, it's a virtual actually, by within so and so signature will be there. Okay, so that is also a proof of trust. Okay, the same concept here in the signing also actually. Okay, so we are telling the service provider, okay, hey service provider, this response is coming from the trustable identity provider only. So I have authenticated the user successfully. Okay, you can trust this response and allow the user to log in into the application actually. Okay, so we are using one kind of a certificate called signing certificate to enable the trust. Okay, so to enable the trust in the SAML response created by the IDP and pass it to the SP so that SP can verify this response. Okay, so that it is coming, this response is generated by the trustable identity provider only. So I can, the SP can able to verify and allow the user to log in into the application. Understood, Stavia? Now the exact definition we can say here. I mean, you can create your own definition. That is, you don't need the exact definition. Just only that, like we are going to that IDP signing the SAML response by using one kind of certificate that it is telling the service provider that this response is generated by the trustable IDP only, so you can, the SP can able to trust this and allow the user to log in into the application basically. Okay, understood? Understood, Stravya?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
good, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
Yes,
So please make sure this trust is not two-way, only one way. Okay. So we are just passing this response to the SP. So SP needs to SP needs to trust the IDP only. Actually, it's not a two-way certificate, only one way. Okay. To make the SP to trust our IDP. That's all. Okay. Yeah. Understood? Okay, okay, guys. Okay, so this is the SP initiated SSO, guys. The SAML request will be generated by the SP. For that particular request, response will be generated by the IDP actually. Okay, yeah. Now we'll go to the IDP initiated SSO. So this IDP initiated SSO, it's a testing purpose, guys. Okay, which is available only for the pingfederateidp administrators. Okay, we can also share this to the application. Okay, that is an exceptional approach only, but don't share it for all the application. Whenever the application is there, if they cannot be able to I mean, if they cannot be able to procure the SP initiated SSO, certain old applications are there, right? 20 years before application or 25 years before. I mean, those kind of application is less in number. Maybe like one or two applications are there actually, which does not support the SP initiated SSO. So they are still supporting only the IDP initiated SSO. So that's why this IDP initiated SSO is still there. But for our testing purpose, actually, okay, when you generate a, okay, so here, why IDP initiated SSO, right? Okay, so here in pingfederate, okay, you will be going and creating a configuration for the SAML. Okay, so the information about the SP, you will be configuring in our pingfederate actually. Okay, so when you complete the configuration, okay, one URL will automatically generate for each and every application actually. Okay, for example, there are 10 SAML configurations you are going and creating in the pingfederate. Okay, so 10 different IDP initiated SSO URL for 10 different applications will get automatically created when you complete the SAML connection. Even if you create one SAML connection, means that one IDP initiated SSO URL will get generated actually. That is an automatic generation actually. When you save the configuration, okay, so that URL will get generated. So when you hit that URL, so the IDP initiated SSO will start when you hit that particular endpoint actually. Okay, so there may be like one kind of a endpoint will be there like this. Okay, I'm just giving an example. It's not like an exact match actually. Your pingfederate host name. Okay, so like this will be there, guys. Okay, so these are all like the same thing actually. Okay, so yes, this is an IDP initiated SSO URL actually. Okay, so this URL will get generated. I'm just giving an example. It is not an exact match. Okay, so here this is known as the entity ID of the SP. Okay, so here this is known as the entity ID of the SP. So this entity ID will get changed. Okay, up to this one, it's the same for all the like application. Only this one will get changed for each and every SP entity ID actually. Okay, so whenever you complete the configuration inside the pingfederate console for the SAML, one kind of a IDP initiated SSO will get generated. So when you try to hit this particular URL, right, what will happen? Okay, this URL is not available outside the organization or nothing will be there. Only you need to log in inside the console of the pingfederate, what you have seen. Okay, and then we can able to copy that link and paste it in the browser actually. So when you hit this URL, okay, so the user is trying to access this particular IDP initiated SSO, means it will directly redirect the user to the IDP actually. It is not going to the SP. It is directly redirect the user to the IDP. Then the request will be generated by the IDP itself actually. Okay, and then it will throw the login screen to the user. So it is invisible actually. Okay, so sorry. So this one is invisible. Whenever you hit this particular URL, directly you will be seeing the login screen thrown by the pingfederate actually. Okay, when you hit this particular URL, okay, in the browser, you will see the login screen directly thrown by the IDP actually. Okay, so that means the request has been generated by the IDP. It will throw the login screen to the user, and then it will authenticate. It will go and generate. I mean, it will go and verify, like validate the credentials, and then the SAML response will get generated. Sign the SAML response, and then it will send the SAML response back to the SP. Then the SP will verify the SAML response by using the certificate, and then it will allow the user to log in into the application actually. Okay, so this IDP initiated SSO only for testing to check all the configuration, whatever you configured is correct actually. Okay, so in order to make sure that your certificate you are sending, right, that is going in a correct form actually. Okay, so only for testing purposes. Okay, but some application what they will do, right, so here no configuration will be there in the SP side actually. Okay, only what configuration they will do, right, so they will just configure this particular URL. Okay, so there is a login button we have seen, right guys, here in this I will log out here. So here you could see this is a sign in button is there, right? So if you click on this button, so this is the URL actually. Okay, so here I clicked on that. Oh, I cannot be able to copy that. Okay, just a minute. Why I cannot be able to copy here? Okay, so here if you could see, right, if I click on this one, it's a URL, H reference actually. Any idea? Anyone knows what is a H reference, guys? Any idea? So it's a H reference. I will show you actually. So here view page source. I will do the H reference here. What is that exact one? Yeah, you could see, right, guys? So this is the H reference location actually. That means, okay, so here you could see this is the what they are doing it, right, it's a button actually. So this one is a button. Okay, so when I click on this one, so they use this particular URL, so they just use this particular URL, bind it into the button actually as a H reference. Okay, so similarly, if there is any sign in button is there, okay, if they want to use the IDP initiated SSO, they will just copy this URL and put it there in the button as a H reference actually. So when you click on the URL, so when you click on that button, it will directly redirect to this particular URL. Then the pingfederatetutorial will consume as a IDP initiated SSO URL. So if there is a proper SP initiated SSO, right? Okay, the URL will be different actually. Okay, the single sign-on URL, there is a difference will be there actually. Okay, so we already saw, right? If it's a IDP initiated SSO, the login screen URL will be like this actually. Okay, if it is a SP initiated SSO, the login screen URL will be different. Okay, like this. Like this will be sso.saml2. It's a start sso.ping actually. Okay, you can also ignore this two also. Start sso.ping, here saml2. So this is the two different one actually. If it is a IDP initiated SSO, the endpoint will be different, guys. If it is a SP initiated SSO, the endpoint is different. Okay, so by this way we can able to see the difference. Okay, so we can able to when we do the practical, right, you can able to understand. Okay, first of all, we will be testing it by using the IDP initiated SSO. Second, we will be testing it by using the SP initiated SSO. So when we do both, right, we can able to see how IDP initiated SSO have the different URL, how the SP initiated SSO have the different URL. Okay, so this one, why I'm keep on telling you means this one is important for the interview. In an interview, right, they will ask a question: how will you identify whether the application is using the IDP initiated SSO or SP initiated SSO? So you have to tell them, okay, that okay, by seeing the in the login screen, by seeing it in the URL itself, we can able to differentiate. If it is a start sso.ping, then it is a IDP initiated SSO. If it is a sso.saml2, then directly we can say it is a SP initiated SSO actually. Okay, so if you know these kind of a minute things, right, then they can able to understand that you have successfully, I mean, that you have successfully worked on the SAML and you have the better and best conceptual knowledge in the pingfederate and SAML actually. Okay, because not all the people will know this concept actually. Okay, so I mean everyone will go and create a lot of configurations in the pingfederate. This kind of a difference they won't even know actually. Okay, these are all how they will understand, right? They will be like how they will know, how we will be getting to know this one means we when we like understand the concept of the SAML, and then when you work in the pingfederate, then you can able to understand this kind of a minute things in the SAML actually. Okay, as I already mentioned for the SAML, that subject and then the attributes, the optional attributes, and then the certificate, these are all most like it's a minute information only. Okay, so why I'm saying this are all the year also, including the year also I'm saying it means these are all just if you know these concepts, right? So it's a better actually. Okay, it's a better understanding of the SAML. Okay, so I can go ahead and show you the configuration directly, but that doesn't make a good pingfederate developer actually. Okay, so a better pingfederate developer needs to understand the workflow and understand the difference between the IDP and SP with a clear form actually. Now you can able to see it, right? By seeing it in the URL itself, we can able to see the difference actually. Okay, here we are providing the entity ID in a URL itself actually, SP entity ID. So that's a SAML request is created at the IDP side. So here we are not going to provide anything at the URL. So we are providing at the backend as a SAML request actually. Okay, like this as I mentioned, right? One example. So like this, it should be in the backend. That is a proper way of handling the SAML actually. Okay.